Hello and welcome to MoCDA Talk Series. We're connecting with Clara Luzian, known as Renderfurt. Clara is a 3D artist and animator based in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and she's been making music videos, visuals for live shows and visualizers for the past 5 years. Discover how Clara uses 3D technologies to create immersive and visual experiences. In this talk, you'll be looking at Clara's recent work, Faceless, and how the pandemic is addressed in her art and research. Enjoy the talk.
Hey, hi. Nice to
Hi.
meet you. How are you?
Nice to meet you too. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's actually a really
Mm-hmm.
nice day here today, so I'm trying to
Yeah,
enjoy
here
it
too.
from
I mean, we
indoor,
have,
but yeah.
yeah, I know we have the last days of warm weather here, so because it's autumn here,
Right,
so it's
yes.
nice. Yeah, it's nice weather. Hi
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, hello everyone joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for joining.
And thank you for making time to talk to me. I'm very interested about your work, and I've seen it on social media and also through your website. And I became familiar because I saw it into different projects that you've collaborated in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, yes, I've been looking through it, and I saw it at CADAF in Miami as well.
Uh-huh.
So yes, I wanted to chat with you about it, and I was particularly interested into exploring your latest work. And
Mm-hmm.
also for everyone watching, if you do have questions, please feel free to send them through in the comments, and then we can
Yeah,
discuss
sure.
about it.
Sure.
But yes, I was very moved by this piece, which I'm just showing here on the screen. And I know that you also wrote a poem.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe tell us a bit about this work and how you got to create it?
Yeah, I'm here 20 to a month of quarantine here without leaving my house at all because I came from the US. I'm from Argentina, by the way. I'm here. I came from the US on the March 15, 2 days or 3 days before everything goes to crazy.
Yeah.
So my country, I came here on Sunday, and my country closed the airports on Monday, the next day, you know. So I literally escaped from everything and got close here in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I mean, I imagine for everyone, but for me, it's very it's shocking, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was at first I realized in a poetical way, or in a conceptual way, that everything is in the face. If you read my poem, it starts like that. Everything, the problem of the virus and the contagiousness of the virus is, I mean, if we don't have a face, we don't have a virus, basically,
Mm-hmm.
because everything enters from through the noise and through the mouth and stuff. So I imagined that the possible solution for me would be that we don't have holes at all in the face, and that
Yeah.
we only have one big black hole. And I mean black because for me, for several years, since I was a child, uh, I have this notion of not having anything inside the body but black, like pure
Hmm.
black, and kind of emptiness inside. You know, I didn't know, or I didn't think about organs and blood and stuff. I just imagined whole blackness inside. So if you chopped the face and just extract it, for me, it's just pure black. And this blackness inside, or this lack of light for me is where all my emotions and feelings happen. So yeah, that's basically the reason that for me, if you cut your face off, there's like this empty space with abstract stuff going on, you know? Am I being clear somehow?
Yeah, absolutely. I really liked your description of you as a child
Yeah.
learning about the body and feeling that there's an empty black space inside. And I do in a way wanted to share something about my understanding as well, because I remember when I was little, I was having dreams overnight, and I was dreaming people, instead of being with a face and arms and, you know, they were like entities, floating entities, and they were black, you know, these
Oh,
shadows
you
moving.
know?
And when I saw this work, um, it reminded me of that, even though it was well in the past and it was kind of difficult to recollect that memory.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, I felt, you know, this sort of liquid dripping down from the face's shoulder, from the hand, and creating this pond, you know, under these bodies that only have the upper part of the body.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of that. And I was so captured by it in a weird way, because it is beautiful, but also quite creepy, you know?
Yeah, it's
And it
eerie, right?
also reminded me of Modigliani and these very long necks,
Yeah, the
and
long neck.
these the inability of touching each other, because also in Modigliani's work you can see the distance between people, you know, and the fact that
Mm.
they normally stand alone in those portraits,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and they're
you're
quite
right.
distant. And so the fact that also Modigliani had um, always painted, or often painted, black eyes, so you couldn't really see
Yeah,
inside the eyes, you know, they were pitch black. And that was
yeah,
also to go through the emotions of what you were seeing in the portrait, you know, and to see beyond what you were actually looking at, you know, the beauty of the person. So, you know, those elements sort of resonate with me. And then I've read the poem, and I don't
oh,
know if you want to talk
after
about
that.
that, or if you want to
Nice.
read it as well, because I think it's very important to sort
It,
of share it. But I know it's quite personal, so it's entirely up to you.
to read it.
Yeah, if you would
I,
like to, or
I,
if you talk about
it,
how the poem sort of influenced the work and how the way round.
yeah. First of all, I wrote it in Spanish, and then
Right.
I translate it into English the best way I can.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not the same, you know, because Spanish and English have different textures as languages. But I mean, I try my best to pick the words that most fairly reflect the Spanish word, you know.
Yes.
But yes, you probably noticed that uh, there is a person inside the poem besides me,
Mm-hmm.
so whom I'm talking to.
Yes.
Um, well, there is in the real world there is a person that I'm missing, but it's also for me is this distant thing we have to have now is this poetic exaltation of loneliness we have now, you know. It necessarily implies another person, another institution, another, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for me is very poetic, this exaltation of loneliness and this romanticism of being alone with yourself, with your stuff still happening without the outside, you know.
Yeah,
Does it make sense for you?
it does, absolutely. I think I do understand that feeling quite well. And I feel that
Yeah.
maybe a lot of us are going through the same, especially because what you're experiencing is, you're sort of left alone to confront it. And it
Yeah.
is that
Suddenly.
time, in a way, I see this as an opportunity for all of us to sort of take a moment to reflect
Yeah.
and sort of, take those encounters as experiences of facing your real self, your real self, and maybe parts that you haven't been listening to or confronting. So it is therapeutic in a way,
Yeah.
but there's danger in that, because in a way,
Yeah, of
you
course.
sort of feel lost, and you may not want to go deeper and explore what really sits at the bottom of your feelings and soul. So it is beautiful to go through that journey, but in a way, it can be quite traumatic.
Yeah, not everyone is prepared for therapy, It's the
Yeah,
same as psychological therapy. It's the same.
yeah.
You have to be prepared mentally to that journey. And this happened all of a sudden, and suddenly we are all thinking and reviewing our lives. And yeah, these situations caught you in one time of your life, and it's like everything stopped. And yeah,
And
those
it happened to
people
all of
what
us, all of us at the same time. So it's not that
yeah.
some people are lucky enough to support others on another part of
Yeah,
the
of course.
planet. So,
I
you
mean,
know,
there's people that still still watching Netflix, which I celebrate. But I see it personally. I see it as an opportunity. I mean, I'm a person that likes to find poetry in everything. I think, does it make sense? But I mean, my art lives through that also. So it's a very good moment for me. Um, and I think I'm mentally prepared for this search, this it's quite a moment, right? But
mm,
especially because you don't know when it's going to be ending and how it's going to be ending. So yeah, it's difficult. I just abandon myself to the feelings and try to do my best with that.
yeah,
uh, for my work, it's very inspiring, by the way. And also it when I was child, everything goes there, right? I don't know why. When I was a child, I don't dream a lot. I don't remember my dreams a lot. But when I remember this dream, I remember specific dreams I had, and I had this dream in where I was inside a big house with a marble stairs and all, and I was going up, and then I found several different doors to open, different rooms, right?
mm-hmm,
And there was a big balcony, but I got attracted to the doors, and after entering some rooms I didn't like at all, with gooey stuff and all that I got scared. I entered another room where it was interesting because I saw myself
mm-hmm,
sorting stuff in drawers, like tidying up the room, and in different routes, like frenetically doing it.
mm-hmm,
And I think this quarantine or this situation helped me organize all my stuff in a way that I can take advantage of the time I spend at home. I'm a
mm-hmm.
very routinary person, and I really like um, tidying up, especially at work. I don't know how to say it in English, but I'm really organized. I'm methodic,
Mm-hmm.
and this is putting an accent into that for me. and it reminds me of that dream. It didn't have sense at that time, and it
Mm-hmm.
has sense for me right now.
And do you
You
feel
know?
that these aspects of your personality also happens in your work? Like the fact that you keep it very methodic, or do you abandon yourself more to the feelings?
Well, it depends. It first depends if it's not commissioned work, it's more free
Yes.
because I don't have the deadlines, and I probably don't have a very finished idea of what I want to do. I only have one feeling or a poem, or I write a lot also. And this is the approach is different.
Right.
When it's commissioned work, I have to do things more methodically because deadlines, but
Yeah.
time always structure everything.
Yeah.
This is another thing that we have to reformulate now, the notions of time, right?
Yeah,
A very,
absolutely. I feel that now
yeah,
time is fluid more than ever.
yeah,
To me, some days last forever, and some days
yeah,
gone in the blink of an eye.
yeah,
So it is
and,
very difficult to maintain a routine. I think I
yeah,
was doing, because it's been over a month now that I've been self-isolating, and at the beginning, the first couple of weeks, I was doing really well.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, I was like not doing so well, being up until late, and then not managing my day. So, in a way that I would have in a normal situation. So it is interesting also to allow yourself to find different routines within
yeah,
these inconsistent times, because you're at home, so you can kind of manage yourself as you want. But it is also important to redefine you and the self, within this process.
yeah, sure. For me, routine is very important. I have sort of a talent designing my own routines, and I'm very rigid in accomplishing all that I propose in the day. But for
Mhm.
me, it's very structuring to do physical activity. I like to do workouts, and I always. I'm a very active person. Um, I mean, I spend my whole day in front of the computer, and then my mind goes like, I can't do this anymore, like at 6 p.m.
Yeah, I
And I
totally
have to,
understand.
yeah, and I have to do physical activity. And I used to go to the gym, and I have a nice group of people and stuff, my social part of the day. But now, there's many apps to do it, and I still maintain my contact, mostly because if I don't do physical stuff, I feel like I lose contact with my body, with my
Yeah.
materia. And yeah, I try to do that at a specific time in the day, so that gives me structure also.
Hmm. That's a good tip, actually. Yes,
Yeah,
I try to do the same, but I'm not as consistent. Unfortunately, I used to
yeah,
be. I was
it's
actually
never.
training for a marathon, before all of this started, and I was running 25 kilometers, and I was
Hmm,
so happy because you feel good about yourself and the body.
yeah,
But now yeah, it's kicking
yeah,
in, so you need to readapt. But it's doing fairly well, for what I've been
yeah,
experiencing, and
it's
doing this is great. Meeting so many artists like yourself, and learning a lot about the community, and the fact that people are willing to share and be honest.
yeah,
I think it's beautiful. So it
that's
is
happening a
actually
lot,
nice to be online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, sure, yes. This is
Um,
happening a lot. Everybody is sharing stuff, sharing what they know. This is this is this is this is proposing new ways of sharing from people, and we all share what we know. So it's a nice thing.
Does it
It's a
work for
human
you
thing.
as an artist, like this new way of being present online? And then we also have a few questions and comments that I'd like to share with you.
Yeah, sure. I didn't read any question. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic that anyone wants to listen what I have to say. So thank you for the opportunity. Of course, I really like it.
Good. I
Where
was
can I see?
so yes, I wanted to go back to the poem as well, but we have a few comments and questions I wanted to share. So somebody's asking if you use a PC workstation or a Mac. More technical question.
Yeah, I'm on PC now. I was a Mac user for several years, but for some reason, Mac abandoned us, 3D artist. Yeah, it's very technical, but I'm on PC right now.
Right. I'm just looking for the questions. There's one coming from Non-Origin asking where they can see more of your work.
Well, in my Instagram. There's everything there. I have a website, but you know, websites.
You think social media works better these days?
Yeah, sure. It's more like you have engaged and stuff is very different. Like
Is
for
that...
me, the...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, the website is like the old curriculum vitae. And I mean, it's a formality. You have to have it, but it's not like it's never updated. So yeah, Instagram.
Yeah, I understand. Is there any other way that you would be happy to show your work, for example, if it wasn't on Instagram? Because I know, like for myself as well, you know, Instagram, it doesn't always align with personality or, you know, but how would you exhibit your work if you were going to imagine a way of doing so in an online environment?
In an online environment, there's no social platform that, yeah, YouTube is getting better.
They're doing lives now on YouTube, so I want to explore that.
Yeah, but you know, the format I used to work is loops, so they last 15 seconds. So, and whenever I want to share it through YouTube, I have to loop it to, you know, to feel like a minute or so. It's very uncomfortable for me. So yeah, I don't know. Everything's changing also, so I'm open to new to news about social media. I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of new platforms sort of coming about, and everyone is sort of testing them. So yeah. We have another question asking what software programs are part of your workflow besides C4D?
I use DAS 3D. I use After Effects for production, for post-production. I use ZBrush, Substance Painter, Adobe Suite, the entire stuff. Like I'm just literally watching my screen, my screen monitor for the programs. Then yeah, that's it. I'm trying to my first steps in Houdini, but it's very difficult for me. I used Unity for a project, for a group project I had last year, but yeah, mostly it's Cinema 4D and After Effects for production, for post production.
I see. And do you normally combine these softwares, or when you start a project, you sort of run it through one software, or do you go through different steps?
Yeah, I feel comfortable in Cinema 4D for most cases. Yes.
Okay, thank you. There's lots of questions coming through. So,
Yeah.
Clara, what do you do for the drive you have in? I'm an artist myself, but my root calling is music, and I'm struggling. You inspire, and your art says it all. So this is more like a comment, but
Thank
it's
you.
but if you want to add something, feel free to, please.
I didn't understand the first part. Uh,
You
what
can you
what
can
was this?
look at the questions in the comment. I don't know if you can see them on the screen. Um,
You know, no, I can see there's one question like pinned.
what do you do for
Uh,
the drive you have in you? So it's kind of like what's your drive as an artist?
okay, okay, my
I suppose.
inspiration or something. Yeah. Um, I guess the writing is a good starting point. Yes, and I also do sketches in my little books and stuff. I don't really know. It really depends on. I'm I'm a very diverse person, so and I'm also curious. So I like to absorb information from different places. So I don't know what's that specifically the starting point for every project, you know. You can, in
Hmm.
this case of Faceless, it was writing, of course.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, there was an extension to the question. I mean, sort of suggesting what keeps you going, but I think you sort of said.
Oh, okay. What keeps me going? Um, I think curiosity, and I think yeah, it's curiosity, I think.
Yeah.
And I really like to do what I do. I also it's also that I really like it.
Yeah.
Like I prepare my mate because I'm Argentinian.
Ooh,
Uh,
nice. I used to have one
yeah,
of those. Oh,
I
I left it in my previous flat where I used to live, and I've feel so stupid because I used to love it because one of my flatmates was getting me that,
yeah.
and I loved it as a drink.
Yeah, so I wake up in the morning and prepare my mate and yeah, just sit in the computer and enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
That's beautiful. There's someone else saying super interesting that your work only exists in Instagram, which is a social media mainly used for super fast satisfaction like only. A few seconds or for your work kinds works against the platform. Sorry. Yes, like suggest that Instagram is very
Yeah,
fast in the way people consume art and like it, and you see
yeah,
it 1 second and then it's gone. So that kind of works against your work.
yeah,
So
definitely.
how do you relate to that?
Well, it's the way it is. I don't know. I always say it's between hundreds of comments in, well, I don't know if I have hundreds of comments, but between all the comments I have for one work in the beside below the captions, I have like many comments, but there's one or two that I really can say they took the time to watch it and to understand the piece. So for me, that's enough, you know. I of course I appreciate that everyone's saying good job. What program do you use and all this interest, but some people really I can say they were really touched by and they really went to a common place we share. So for me, that's enough. All the speed we have, it's okay for me. It's okay for me. But if there's one or two that I don't want to say understood, but that empathized with the piece of artwork, that's okay for me.
That's actually really good that through social media you can talk to your audience because, for example, when you go see a show, it is very rare that, one, you meet the artist, two,
Yeah,
it is a good time for the artist or you to express what you want to share.
of
So I
course.
find these encounters very rare. I had the opportunity a few times to talk to people while I was looking for exhibitions and really have a nice conversation, you know, very open. But it's extremely rare, you know, you never really do it because maybe you don't feel like it. You don't feel like sharing while you're absorbing things, and maybe the person that's put the exhibition together is not ready or is not in the right time at the right place
Yeah,
to take it in. So a lot of time there's collision, you know. Whether in social media, I think you can choose how to say things and you can find the right moment so that you can take it
yeah,
in. But at the same time, it has no filters because we are missing the human interaction. So
the
you're missing all
face.
the body language and all
Yeah,
that sort of emotions that go beyond the screen. So in a way, communication really, really changed, but it
yeah,
allows you to at least have an option to interact.
yeah. It's basically what I feel when I'm writing, you know, that you have more time to express yourself uh, to the way you want to say things and stuff. So I really like writing uh, instead of talking, you know. But I get what you say about the gestures and body language and stuff. Yeah, it says too much. It says much also. But yeah, writing is a really good way to express yourself if you know how to do it and you're not just a hater in the internet.
Yes, yeah, yeah, I understand.
uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, there's a few more questions and comments
Hmm.
shared here, so I just wanted to read them loud. Interesting that your writing is, so to speak, a precursor to some of your work. I'm intrigued by the linkage between language and visual works of art. My question is, how important do you think language is in appreciation of your artworks? Language
In the
meaning the ability to speak about your artworks.
yeah, it's it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Um, I have to make an effort to to relate the both parts of the process. I don't know. It's abstract for me. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. Words, when you write, words create images in your head probably, but they're not like literal. So you have to go through the process of trying to wow to visualize all the feelings in and you have the software and you have the technical issues and you have to solve the colors and everything you don't see while you're writing you have to solve it in the software, you know. It's I
Yeah.
guess it's complicated. It takes time. I don't know.
Hmm. And are you like when you have the um, when you have the image that you sort of explode in your writings in words, is this something that differ from your imagination, from what you've imagined during your writing journey, or is it sometimes enhancing what you explode through the writing? How does that differ? Or
um
are you taking on a different journey, like, you know, you've taken on a writing experience and then you do something that is more visual, and does that take onto a different story? Is it like a, you know, splitting, or is it enhancing, I suppose?
I think I get what you mean, but I always say I also discover things through the visual process. Uh, I discover new things about what I was trying to write before. Because the languages are different, definitely. The writing language it's
Yeah.
different from
In different
the
mediums, yeah.
yeah, it's different, definitely. So it complements. They like work together in my work, but they have they also have its own things to say, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of putting it to work together. But they're also independent. I mean, you can just watch the artwork and not reading the poem, and or you can like read the poem without watching the artwork. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's very abstract. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
abstract, right?
Mm-hmm. I saw the image first, and then I read the
Yeah.
poem. And something I saw in the image I didn't see in the writings. It was like a
Wow.
complementary story.
Mm.
But then I felt something that connected to what I saw. So, you know, there was that something that sort of reminded me of something that I saw previously. And I was like, uh-huh. So, you know, I had my aha moment and I was like, yes, I
Mm.
can see that. But it wasn't the story that I'd imagined first, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite interesting to add that as an extra layer, as like, you know, you have a story and you have an ending in mind or a continuum in mind, and then you add something else like extra elements, and then you start imagining on top of that, and so
Yeah.
it sort of takes on potential different endings, you know. And so it's kind of like there's one story, but then like in sliding doors you've got different endings depending on what happens through the way. So that's what sort of triggered my imagination when I was reading it.
Yeah. Do you think that reading the poem conditioned your way of looking the artwork, or it just added more sense for it?
Yes, the second one.
The
It
second.
didn't really condition the way I looked at the work. Of course, it is difficult to look at the same thing twice and have the same fresh look. So you've already constructed things in your head that is very difficult to remove them. But you sort of go back to it with different eyes. So he has informed it at a deeper level. Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
We have some more questions if you're happy
Mm-hmm.
to take them. Somebody's asking, how was working with Bring Me the Horizon?
Oh,
She's from Canada.
it was, yeah, hi. It was intense, you know. Um, Oliver is, yeah, we share a lot of philosophy in our lives. He's vegan also, so he's very energetic and proactive, and he was okay with everything I've done, and beautiful person. So working for him and for his ideas uh, was very nice, and it was also very free and very fluid. So it was a really nice experience. And also it was funny because I did some visuals for him for the Lollapalooza, you know, and he didn't knew I was Argentinian,
Mm-hmm.
and he was coming to the Lollapalooza Argentina the next week. So
Oh, what
yeah,
a coincidence. That was good.
yeah, it was crazy. And I mean, I got to see my visuals live, which is something I almost never do. So it was amazing. It was really amazing. And I did a couple of things more about that after that. It was amazing. It's a great band.
Good. Um, we have someone else asking, what is your favorite poetry?
Oh, I
Do you
love
normally
Sharon.
write poems? Actually, I was curious to ask you. What kind of forms do you adopt when writing? What kind of
I
narratives? Like, do you prefer poetry or stories or?
um, I try to not like close myself in a narrative form specifically, because I write a lot. So maybe I open Google Docs and just write something like a paragraph or stuff. And sometimes that becomes a poem. Sometimes that becomes something longer. But there's always a core idea in this paragraph I'm writing. So it maybe keeps it, I maybe keep it as a paragraph, or maybe keep it as transform it into a poem. Poems mostly. Yeah, because it's very similar of the loops I do. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they have a concept you can develop for a certain amount of time, and uh, they are like mostly they are scenes,
Mm-hmm.
they are scenes like. So I'm thinking about this while I tell you. So yeah, it's
It's a good
very,
time
yeah.
to be thinking. That's totally fine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think their poems are more like scenes, like compositions,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very similar of what I do visually speaking.
Yeah,
Does it
absolutely.
make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it does. And I really liked what you just said, that these compositions, they're timed in a way. There's only so much that you can explore one subject before
Yeah.
developing something else. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it is very human,
Of
it is
course.
something that we may get bored, keep exploring,
Sorry, I
maybe
miss
at a.
I miss some words because it cuts.
Sorry, yes, it was my battery. um,
Okay.
but yes, I was saying that I like the concept that you express, that a subject can only be explored for a certain amount of time, because it could be as well that we as human, we've got this thing which is kind of embedded, that, I think some people like to get lost and be sort of reiterating some themes or topics in the head and living through that. But in other ways, you need to take a break sometimes and revisit it at a later stage. And it's good to also have a narrative within that topic that you're exploring. So I really like that concept. It's like an artwork, it's a journey. You start, it has a lot of interventions, and then it has an ending, and I
Yeah.
think it is right that things do have an ending.
Yeah, sure.
I feel it's human.
I'm
I don't know, I just, yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
even though there are works that are continuum, a continuum,
Yeah.
and they do explore other ways of creating art under different circumstances, perhaps.
Hmm. Yeah. I think there's a comparison. There's a I keep analyzing while talking to you. I keep analyzing the visual world with the writing world, and for me, the loop concept is like I was saying, it is like the poetry, it's like the poem concept. And I was also thinking about that. I also do lyric videos or music videos for musicians.
Yeah, and there's actually a
And
question about that. Somebody's
okay.
asking if you can talk about your music creation process.
Okay, but I think that's different because I don't
Okay.
know what I don't know what's he or she asking, because there's what I wanted to say is that I also do music videos for musicians, and that pieces have more like a narrative, like a long narrative background, you know, because time, again, time, it's like 3 minutes, 3 minutes and a half, for example. So
Yeah.
you have to have some leading idea that narrates what's happening there. And it has, like you said, like it has a beginning, it has a middle part, and it has an ending, of course. It's very different from looping stuff or short ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I write also longer stories for my music video. Is if it's that the question the person asked. I write longer ideas or longer journeys to develop longer ideas, of course, makes sense.
yeah, of course. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, there's a lot of people saying that they love your work and your style and the
Oh,
music that
thank
you write.
you.
So there's a lot of compliments, and yes,
Thank
it's
you.
really wonderful. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
all of this.
Oh, thank
I
you.
I wanted to ask you if you were okay to read the poem, perhaps, but maybe in Spanish if you feel like it.
Yeah, I have to look up because I'm using my phone right now, and
Yeah, sure.
if you if you give
Because
me a minute,
we
I
have
can.
about 10 minutes left. So if you guys watching want to share any more question
Mhm.
or send us through any comments, please do. There's a question we had. How does the audio connect with the visual?
Well, I think it may be similar to writing, right? Um, yeah, they're all different worlds. They're all different worlds, but somehow they connect together. I cannot specifically say. I think it's a big question, you know, for me, and
Yeah.
for just one person. But yeah, they're different worlds that bind together, you know.
Hmm.
I think everyone feels something while listening to music. There's feeling, and that feeling you can write about that. You can do visuals about that. You can, I don't know. Does it make sense? It's
Yeah, I
very
mean
abstract.
it does, but yeah, I think it also it is a very personal question. I think we all sort of
Yeah.
relate to that in slightly
Mm.
different ways.
Yeah, of course. I have the poem if you want me to read
Yeah,
it.
I mean, would you mind? Is that okay with you
Of course.
to read it? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Um, in a pause for time and space, from the news on the TV, I told myself everything is in the face. Between the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, all the problem is there. The lethal reunion between viscous liquids and grease of hands, agents of exchange. My face, the one you used to like, is now pure threaten, full of nervous ticks and alerts, and statistics of dead and infected. I painted the whole black because it was easy to imagine your absence. And as always, in black I find shelter. Now the hands blindly seek your faults and cleft in the cold unknown. In this contagious time, we will have to stop touching our mouth, despite how I like to kiss you. And my tongue will have to roll up back into the dark, wet, and now suspicious place where it has come to lick you, despite how I like to lick you. Smelling each other has been a luxury that distance always denied. We didn't have time to imagine new senses, and all I have is to listen because touching is like a prologue I never read. That's it. we are going to die or run in place like in a dream, with eyes, nose, and mouth paused.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you.
loved it. There's
Thank you.
so much in these words, and so many feelings. And the faceless, the work that we have here on the screen, you know, captures the essence of the poem really well.
Well,
it is a
thank you
tragic
so
time,
much.
but it's in a way it is a revolution we're all going through, and every crisis as new beginnings. And
Yeah, of course.
it is,
We shouldn't,
you know,
yeah, we shouldn't go back to normality. We shouldn't go back to normal. We should
yeah,
like rethink some stuff that has been normal into new realities, better realities.
yeah, exactly. Yes. And I just wanted to thank you to share those words with us, your work, and invite everyone to take a moment and reflect on what we've discussed today. And I hope this will bring inspiration for artists and for people that have been listening to this. And I wanted to thank you because it's, you know, it is very profound, and I know it's very personal work. But sharing it makes it stronger in a way, you know. It is very
Thank
powerful.
you.
So thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, especially you, for all the clever questions you made and all this dialogue. Like, helped me a lot to
Oh,
think about my work and to think about the situation. This is a huge situation, and we have to stay together. And
yeah.
these type of things help a lot. So thank you so much. Thank you,
Well,
everyone
thanks. It's been
there.
wonderful to talk to you, and thank you, people watching. It's so nice to have these kind of
Yeah,
things
thank
every
you.
day. So it's been
Yeah,
lovely. There's sorry, I
thank you
just
for
wanted to
taking the
say
time. Yeah,
there were a few
yeah,
more questions, but if you guys don't mind, maybe to share them on the post, maybe on your Instagram,
yeah,
and then you can
sure.
maybe reply and address those questions. But yes, thank you so
Of
much.
course.
Stay safe,
Thank you.
stay creative, and let's
Yeah,
keep in touch.
thank you.
Bye
Thank you
now.
so much. Be safe. Bye.
You
Bye,
too. Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.